He didn't wear gloves, he didn't have to. His bare fists crushed men. His presence silenced crowds. John L. Sullivan was the first world heavyweight boxing champion, and the last of a brutal era when blood flowed freely in the ring. With a bottle in one hand and pride in the other, he fought not only opponents, but time itself, in a world that didn't yet know what a champion was, but learned it through him. This is the story of a man born to fight, and who died a legend. This is the story of John L. Sullivan. John Lawrence Sullivan was born in 1858 in Boston, the son of poor Irish immigrants. His father was a stonecutter, and the sound of hammers on rock was the first music John ever heard. He grew up in a rough neighborhood where survival mattered more than dreams. Early on, he learned the world wouldn't hand him anything. At school, he was unruly. In the streets, a brawler. But he had something no one could ignore: strength. A lot of it. By the time he was 20, he was already well known in the bars, challenging anyone to step into a makeshift ring. No rules, no gloves, and walk out still standing. He earned a few bucks, but more importantly, he earned respect. It was there, in back alleys and saloons, that the Irish boy found his path. Not through sport, but through fighting. Literally. Gradually, the name John L. Sullivan began to echo beyond the taverns. In 1882, at just 24 years old, he faced Paddy Ryan and defeated him with a savage flurry of punches. That victory wasn't just a win, it was a coronation. America had its first true heavyweight boxing champion. But Sullivan wasn't just a boxer. He was a spectacle. He traveled from town to town by train, daring any man to last 4 rounds with him. Few tried. Almost none succeeded. Crowds gathered, newspapers followed. The country stopped to watch. In a time before television, he was the face of the fight game, a symbol of masculinity, Irish pride, and raw power. Sullivan didn't mince words. "I can lick any man alive," he declared. And for years, he proved it. But the same fire that lifted him to the top began to burn him from within. With fame came excess. Sullivan drank like he was invincible. He fought outside the ring with the same fury he showed inside it. His confidence turned to arrogance, his training to neglect. In 1892, it all came crashing down. He faced James J. Corbett, a new kind of fighter, technical, fast, intelligent. Unlike the bare-knuckle brawls of old, Corbett danced around the ring. Sullivan, now nearly 34 and visibly out of shape, fought for 21 rounds. But he was outclassed, outmaneuvered, knocked down. For the first time, John L. Sullivan fell. It wasn't just the end of a fight. It was the end of an era. He was the last champion of the bare-knuckle days. And the world was moving on, toward a modern form of boxing, with gloves, rules, and strategy. For Sullivan, the fall was more than physical. It was existential. He no longer fit the mold. Not of the sport, not of himself. After the loss, Sullivan vanished from the ring, but not from public life. For the first time, he looked inward. He gave up drinking, became a public speaker, preached temperance, discipline, redemption. It was strange to see that once fierce giant, now gray and calm, advocating moderation. But he meant it. He came to understand that his greatest opponent wasn't Corbett, or the dozens he knocked out. His greatest adversary had always stared back at him in the mirror, and this time, he won. Sullivan died in 1918 at the age of 59. But what he left behind wasn't just a record of victories. He was the bridge between two worlds, the savage and the scientific. He was the first true champion, the first to unite crowds, captivate a nation, and turn boxing into a national phenomenon. No gloves, no rules, but with a soul that never quit, and that no one could take from him. Before him, boxing was little more than street fighting. After him, it became legend. John L. Sullivan was more than a fighter. He was the blueprint of a champion, a symbol of strength, pride, and redemption. He didn't need gloves to show greatness, only courage, and a heart that never backed down. In a time without rules, he carved his own path. And even in defeat, he taught us that a true champion is the one who rises from within. John L. Sullivan wasn't just the first. He was forever.